Hi everyone. I know it's been a minute since you've seen my face, so I wanted to pop in and give you some details about the upcoming Pinewood Derby race that I'm not sure have been answered entirely or clearly by just text alone. Our Pinewood Derby race is every scout's favorite event for the entire year. It is a very, very complex, very big production, and it is totally worth it because they look forward to it every year. The trophies will actually be here this week. I have ordered them all, and we go hard for trophies in this unit. Some of the questions I know you probably have are centered around why we do axles the way we do. Last year was our first year doing it this way, where we did all of the polishing and attaching the wheels and axles. And the races, they became so close. And everything was equitable because they were sanded down, polished the same exact way by the same person, and they were assembled the same way by the same person. So the races, like, you actually had to pay attention because nobody ran away with the time. It came down to the kids only had to worry about their car design, and that's really all it should be. The big question, since you don't have your axles and wheels, is the weight. Your car should be no more than 4.5 ounces when you bring it to us at check-in. Speaking of check-in will be Friday the 6th of February. Time is to be determined. This year is a little different because we are trying to do a lock-in and an earlier race than what we normally do. Previously, we would do a late check-in starting somewhere around 7:30 on Friday, and we would have a race at 3 o'clock on Saturday that would last about 3 hours. Not including cleanup, though. Cleanup is a big part of this. You might be wondering why the change. Why are we making it more complicated by having it overnight? Well, the answer is simple. There are some of us who would end up staying at check-in until about 3 a.m. and then there'd still be more stuff that needs to get done in the morning, which is why the race wouldn't start until 3, because some of us still needed to go home, get some sleep, and then get back to the race day venue and finish setting up so that we could start at 3. So our hope is this way, if we have you all there, you're gonna help do things because you don't have to rush home to feed your kids, get them in bed, and you can help set up and finish decorating, and just we're not doing it by ourselves, right? What kind of jobs do we need help with? Really simple jobs if more people help. They're setting up a big backdrop, which is where we take all of our pictures for our winner circle. We have a track that needs to get set up. There's the concession stand. There's the tables and chairs for people to sit when they're eating or they don't want to sit at the race. There's all the chairs that go next to the track and the bleachers that go on the other side, because we have a spot just for the racers so they don't have to fight with everyone else who's watching the race on the other side of the track. They get their own seats in the pit, we have games come. We like to have each den be responsible for bringing an activity so that the kids can play during the day when it's not their race. A lot of kids do want to watch the race, but we understand that attention spans are different. And we've had Legos and cars and cornhole, just different activities for them to do. We have a craft station. It's a very family friendly event. So we want your whole family to come. And if that means you have younger siblings coming that need something to do, we have plenty of activities for them to do. During the race, you heard me say concessions. So we ask that you volunteer, one or two people at a time, volunteer to run the concession stand. You won't have to do it during your Scouts race, but it does help other people. You sell them random treats, and we will have food that is more like a hot dog instead of just the nachos we had last time. If someone volunteers to take the lead on that. Last year, Cami wasn't able to do it, and she had done it before, and it fell into my lap, and I went, I don't have time for this. So to give you guys something to eat, I just made engineer dip, which is just Velveeta and meat, and it was with chips. So there was something more than candy. There was a lot of candy. We have a lot of candy. But it just falls back to what do we have time for? And that's a job that needs to be taken up by someone with more time. Another thing we ask all parents to do in normal events, even if you guys don't quite understand and you don't want the pictures of other kids on your phone, it's helpful because you have your leaders who are running the program for everyone's child, and they don't necessarily have the time to take pictures of their own kid. And there have been times where I don't have pictures of Maverick, and it really chaps my hide that nobody took a picture of him. So we're not going to let that happen. And this is his last Pinewood Derby, so it's kind of a big deal. But we're all just going to think about everybody as a whole and grab some pictures and share them in the album because we're all a team at the end of the day. The day of the race, you will see Miss Krista and someone who she is training who will be around longer running the computer program for the race. This person that shadows her needs to be someone on the lower levels of the pack because we would like them to be around for a few more years. So if you're in the big kid program, unfortunately, no, we need someone different. We appreciate your willingness to help and would like to put you somewhere else. We also need someone to help Mr. Moffat or Mr. Bob, depending on the age of your child, start the cars at the starting gate. We would love to have someone learn how to do that this year. Ideally, these people are in uniform because you need to be easily identified. If that's not something you have, then we can talk about it. I do want to point out that you are not allowed to start the cars for your own child's race, which is why Mr. Bob is the perfect candidate for it because he's up there and he's not attached to any youth in our group. I will be manning the clown car of things table where you will see me do a lot of the digital, the interviews, the programming, running the Zoom, tallying the votes, running the music. Just if you want to sit at my table and see how that works, you are welcome to join the madness. Uh, it's not as straightforward as the other jobs. It's just like bouncing around and doing all the things. Uh, I don't know how else to explain it. We will need someone to kind of look over the concession stand or the schedule, or that could be self-led. That would be super cool. And not someone specific. I guess just be aware of you signed up to help and you're gonna go during this race. That we don't have to have a supervisor if one's not needed. We're all adults. Having general awareness of your surroundings and those you bring. We have had to yell, "Whose child is this?" Because at the end of the day, there was nobody watching this underage tiny human running around, and they were running by the track, and like we can't have that happen. So it could be grandpa. Like, you need to pay attention to where your grandpa is because they can't be walking on the track or near the track. Like, we just all need to be the village that it takes to run the event. Now that I've kind of gone over what the day of responsibilities are, let's backtrack and go over some of the details that you're probably trying to make your calendar around. So, Friday night, you will show up, and hopefully, it's with your sleeping gear. You're going to have your scout in uniform, and your scout will sit down and do a short, like 5-question interview. It is who helped them build their car, what was the hardest part, what was their favorite part, do you have anything to say to the racers, what's your car's name, because every car that shows up will have a name. Please name your car before you show up. These interviews give me time fillers to put up on the presentation because we run the race at time slots and we run it over Zoom. If you have a family member who cannot attend in person, it's okay. We will have it's going to be a little different this year, but it'll say open class starts at this time, and then lions and tigers and wolves, bears, webelos, and arrow of light. They will all run no earlier than the time on the schedule, so you know when to show up and when to tune in if it's a family member from somewhere else. It also is a great time for potty breaks for those invested in the race. The one caveat to the schedule and showing up is the voting categories. If your scout wants to vote on any of the 3 voting categories, 4, 5 voting categories that there are, you do have to show up, and it closes before open class is done. These voting categories are for the medal, the medals, not trophies. After your scout's interview, you will go take your car to the impound, and it has to be 4.5 ounces or less. It has to clear the makeshift track tester that we have on the table. It has to have a name, and it'll get checked in, and you don't get it back until we're done. Once it's checked in, then we put the wheels on and put it and it's ready to go. So you have to show up with your car done. If you need to, you can bring some extra glue and weights, and you can get a little bit closer to 4.5 ounces if you want to when you are there. If you need to take some weight off, you can get a drill and chisel some out. There'll be tools there. Once your check-in process is done, you can take the uniform off and you can go to the smaller side of this church. They have it split off into the gym where we have the derby and a smaller room where they do their schooling, and get set up for the sleepover. They can play games, they can spend time with their friends, whatever appropriate activity that they would like to do, as long as they clean up after themselves, is fine. In the morning, we will do a breakfast for everyone who's there, and we will clean up, pack up all of our sleepover gear, and it can get loaded into the car. Ideally, we would have that room cleaned up and closed up before the race starts. Since we've never done an early race, I don't know the exact time it is going to start as of right now. I would like to talk to the other leaders about their thoughts, but if I had to guess, it would start no later than noon, which would mean we could get out of there, depending on cleanup, about 4. We really need help. Really, this is the part where I am so grateful for the Janetsky family, because they all stay and clean, because everyone after the race wants to leave. And I understand you do have a life outside of the race, but so do I. And I would like to go home before, sometimes we've gotten out of there at like 9 o'clock. And that makes for a really long 2 days. So I'm hoping if we start at 12, that we can still get cleaned up and more people will stay and help. That's my goal. That I still hang on to hope every year. As far as the super tiny details of who's racing and who's not racing, I can't pull up GroupMe right now. Maybe I can. But I did ask you in GroupMe if you were planning on racing. I asked if you were planning on racing an extra car, and I asked if you were racing a sibling car. It looks like only 16 out of probably 40 of you responded. All 16 are participating. Nobody said no. Nobody said they were entering an adult car or a sibling car. And I can't imagine that is correct. So I will follow up. Why does that matter? Timing, right? How long is our open class going to run? The reason I said new adult or sibling cars is because we've had families enter the same car 3 years in a row, and I don't want to watch the same car race every year. No, thank you. So we asked for new ones, some new blood into the system. Now, I will go on to say that those 16 people are more than 16 racers, more than 16 participants. We have about 100 people show up to this race every year. It's a big deal. It is why we have the concession stand, because we hope grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, cousins, whomever want to feed the kids all day from the concession stand. It is a very, very, very tiny profit. And honestly, the food just goes back and is regurgitated into our blue and gold. So honestly, we just want to break even with what we purchase. I know this got a bit long winded, and I hope I answered all of your questions that I could think of that we normally send out to people or I tell people in person. But with me not being at the meetings because I'm in my wrestling mom era, um, I want to make sure you guys are getting the information, even though I'm not there, because when you're used to having a partner in crime and that partner in crime is missing, then you're managing all the things and sometimes details fall through the crack. And I'm hoping this really long message helped with that. If I have to say your call to actions now, they will simply be a committee sign up. We will have you sign up for different jobs. We will have you do a more detailed RSVP that I can't do in GroupMe. It will be done in a Google Doc form. And that's going to tell us how many people are coming to watch your scout, so we know how many chairs we really need. We will also have a check-in sign up where you will pick a 10-minute time slot, and we do our best, but depending on how many kids there are, it's going to take longer, and it can bottleneck, but we're hoping with the sleepover, because they can go play, it takes the pressure off of that, and it's just less stressful, I guess, because sometimes parents get crabby when they show up and it's just not moving fast enough, and there's only so much we can do. But the slots are about 10 minutes each, so you showing up with your car pretty good helps tremendously. But please don't feel bad if you don't know enough and you show up and you're just like, I don't know, because at the end of the day, that's not what we want you to remember. We want you to remember that look on your kid's face when they're sitting in their special bleachers going, oh my gosh, look at my car. We'll take care of the other stuff, which is probably why it takes longer too, because we want to make sure everybody has a good experience. I will not see you Wednesday the 21st. I will not see you Wednesday the 28th. I think the first Wednesday that I will see you, as long as there is no other wrestling that pops into my calendar, it will be the Wednesday before Pinewood Derby. So we can do a lot of micro Pinewood Derby details that day. If you really need to ask more questions and digital answers just aren't doing it, we will do our best. But I am here for you. If you are using GroupMe in the appropriate way, try to stick within the channels that are relevant to the question you are asking. I appreciate you all. See you soon.